can start to create beautiful looking Cloudshelf experiences for your kiosks in store. So the first thing you need to do is log into Cloudshelf either from within your Shopify admin panel or by heading straight to manager.cloudshelf.ai. Once you've done this, please click into the Cloudshelves tab and start off by creating yourself a cloud shelf. So I'm going to call mine women's clothing. I'm going to select a lovely theme that I already have created, and I'm going to assign our Shopify checkout flow. Once you're happy with these settings, please go ahead and click confirm, and you'll be redirected to this lovely content tab, where of course you can start off by selecting your brilliant Cloudshelf content. So the first thing you need to do is click into add product group, and here we have access to all of your Cloudshelf, your website collection, and from here you can go ahead and add the collections you'd like to appear on your display. So I'm going to select tops, dresses, I think I also want t-shirts, skirts, and we'll add a couple more. So I also want sale items under £50, and I'm going to add jeans. So I have my 6 collections like so. Once you're happy with these, go ahead and click confirm. Okay, and if you wanted to change these images, so these 2 top images have lovely lifestyle images of the model wearing the item, you may want to also change the rest of your images. So to do this, you simply click on the pencil icon. You can go ahead and upload new images here, and for each collection you can also go ahead and add your attract loop images. So the attract loop is the content that displays while your screens are not being interacted with, and you can upload either vertical or horizontal images depending on the layout of your screens in store. 1080p images work really well for this, and you can also play around with the display text and the call to action button. So for example, you may want this to say discover, or you may want it to stay at shop. Once you're happy with your changes, click confirm. Okay, so that's the first layer of your product groups. You can also add super groups. So let's say, for example, you had loads and loads of products. You could actually categorize these into what we call super groups. So for example, if you had a display which had winter clothing, you could call this super group winter clothing, for example, and then drag all of the relevant collections into that. I won't go too much into this. There will be a separate video on just supergroups. So I'll move on to the next section now. So you can also configure your stock options. So you can select what stock you wish to display on your cloud shelves. You may want to, for example, limit the experience to only displaying the location, the stock of where the location in which the device is located, and any location that supports online ordering. You may want to not include a location that supports online ordering. It's entirely up to you. You can choose to, of course, display out of stock items, out of stock in all relevant locations, of course in stock in any of the relevant locations. And then you have these superb stock labels as well that you can go ahead and configure as you go. Now you can also configure your call to action. So mine is going to be discover more women's wear, for example, and then I also want to activate wish list to basket mode. Okay, and there's a lot of configuring you can do around your buttons and tray labels, so that's where you will come to do that. You can add buyer's guides. There's a separate video on that, of course, as well, and buyer's guides are added to specific collections to help the customers choose the best product for them. You can configure your attract loop settings, so you can turn off products if you wish. You can turn off banners, keep banners on. You can configure the display rules. There's all sorts you can do on the attract loop. You can choose to customize your background image as well and only display custom images and not product group images. So there's a lot of customization you can do. You can customize your product grid to include the brand name or not to include the brand name. And you can also configure how your PDP information displays. So you may wish to have your SKU above your description, for example. You may wish to add other blocks of information, which you can do through our metadata feature. And you can also enable product comparison, which is a brand new feature. There's also a separate video on that. And lastly, you can configure your search option. So this is for your online search. So if we go back to content and then we save our settings that we have added to so far, what we can do is preview our display and have a look at what our Cloudshelf is looking like so far. So there you have it. Within a few minutes, we've created your first experience. You have a wish list feature here. You can build your wish list as you go. You can compare products. So if you wanted to compare that product with that product, you can also go ahead and compare these products with this lovely table here. There's so much customization, guys, that you can do. Please do take the time to get familiar with how Cloudshelf works. You can absolutely do so much customization here and, you know, perfect your cloud shelves to look as beautiful and lovely as you'd like them to. We would welcome your feedback on how you're finding it. So please do reach out to us if you need any support on support@cloudshelf.ai, and we really look forward to hearing about how it's all going. Thank you very much for your time.